Good evening, children. Welcome to Turito, the online classes for school foundation program. I hope you people are all safe, staying at home and enjoying the online classes, right? Yes. Let us focus on the chemistry from Turito for class 6th. In the previous class, we started discussing about the chemical classification of matter, and on the basis of chemical classification, matter can be classified into two categories: pure substances and compounds, mixtures. Okay, pure substances are further divided into elements and compounds, right? So in the previous class we have discussed about the pure substances. That too, we have focused on the elements concept. According to the elements and looking at the number of elements that we have available in the periodic table, we have classified the elements into metals, non-metals and metalloids. There we have discussed about the properties of metals and non-metals, and we even compared the properties of metals and non-metals in the previous class, right? So today let us focus on the pure substance part only, but it is compounds. What is the compound is? When we have started discussing about the classification of matter on the basis of chemical classification or chemical reaction basis, the compounds I have given you the definition of it's a combination of elements. It is the combination of elements. When elements combine together in a fixed proportion, we get a compound. So let us discuss what exactly the compound is, what is the definition of compound, and how we can categorize the properties of a compound. We know that pure substances can be elements and compounds. Elements we have discussed, elements are further classified into metals, non-metals and metalloid that we have discussed. Okay. Looking at the compounds, we can define the compounds as pure substances. Compounds are pure substances, there is no doubt. Okay. Compounds are pure substances, there is no doubt at all. Okay. Which can be separated into two or more components by only the means of a chemical reaction. That is to say that when we have given the definition for element we have said it is a pure substance which cannot be further divided into simpler component by chemical reactions. So by applying chemical reaction we cannot divide the element into further simpler component. But when you look at the compound can be further divided into simpler substances only by chemical reaction, not by physical reactions or physical methods. Okay. So here we can say that compound is a pure substances which can be converted into or separated into two or more components only by the means of chemical reaction. So when you carry out a chemical reaction on this particular compound, pure substance, that will convert into two or more components. That is what is the definition is. Okay. For example, if you are looking at this example, it is H2O, water. Water molecule we know it is V-shaped or we can say angular shaped one. Okay. You can say otherwise bent shape. Okay. Oxygen connected to two hydrogen atoms. Okay. So if you observe here, it is water is made up of, how the water is made up of? Water is made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. Okay. So it contains two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom, right? H2O formula, what we write formula for water? We write the formula of water as H2O. H2O means it has two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. Okay. So we have two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom in water. That is to say that here the atom of hydrogen element, okay, hydrogen element, hydrogen atom and oxygen element, oxygen atom, both are going to react together. Atoms of hydrogen element and atom of oxygen element are going to react with one another and produces H2O. So H2O is formed by the combination of hydrogen atoms and oxygen atom. That is to say that by the combination of hydrogen and oxygen elements we get a compound. So we can define the compound as combination of two or more elements. When elements combine together, and of course again if you observe how the elements are combining here, for example in this case for the formation of water molecule, hydrogen element and oxygen element both are reacting together. Okay. So when you observe the H2O, how many hydrogen atoms are there? We have 2 hydrogen atoms. How many oxygen atoms are there in water? Only 1 oxygen atom. Okay. Whether you take the water in India, or whether you take the water in United States of America, or if you take the water in Russia, or if you take the water in Australia, whatever may be the country, wherever you go, water formula is H2O only. That is to say that water contains 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Whatever may be the hydrogen atoms you supply, whatever may be the oxygen atoms you supply, for the formation of water, we require 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen atom. So we can, one more definition we can give in this case. What is that? The elements can combine with one another to produce the compound. But again, when you observe the mass ratio, if you observe here, as I said, we have 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. If I take the mass of hydrogen, you know, mass of hydrogen is 1. Since we are taking 2 hydrogens, so the mass of hydrogen will be 2 grams. Okay. 2 AMUs, 2 atomic mass units, or 2 unified mass. Okay. Oxygen atomic mass is 16. So it is 16. So whenever we look at a water molecule, the weight of hydrogen is 2, weight of oxygen is 2:16. If we go for cancelling or simplification, what we get? 1:8. So whatever may be the source that we get water, if I am collecting the water from the rain, pure water, okay, or if I am preparing the water in the laboratory, reacting the hydrogen and oxygen giving water, okay, we can prepare water, pure water in laboratory, okay. We can get the water from the ground water, sea water, or the sea water in the sense again a pure water I am saying, okay. So whatever may be the source you are collecting the H2O, water will have the same formula H2O, and the mass ratio or the weight, the ratio between mass of hydrogen and oxygen is always 1:8. So the ratio will remain constant, okay. So we can clearly define the compound as it is the pure substance obtained by the combination of 2 or more elements reacting in fixed proportion, and thereby we get a compound that is taken as water. And in the definition, what definition is given, that it is a pure substance which can be separated into the components by the means of a chemical reaction, but not by the physical means. For example, we have within water, what we have hydrogen as well as oxygen. We have hydrogen and oxygen. Can I separate hydrogen and oxygen by filtration? Take a filter paper or take a funnel, fix with the filter paper and then pour water. Can you separate hydrogen and oxygen through physical methods? No. Once you pour the water will go down and you will get the water only. But you cannot get hydrogen separate and oxygen separate. Okay. So separation of the components present in the compound can be done by chemical reaction only, not by physical means. You cannot do it at all. Okay. So therefore we say that this is a pure substance which can be converted into simpler components by only chemical reactions, not by physical methods or physical reactions. So it's very simple that a compound can be defined as pure substance which is obtained by the combination of elements in a fixed proportion, and that compound, pure substance, can be separated into 2 or more components by only chemical reaction. So you can have a different kind of definition with respect to the compounds. Okay, I think you got the clear idea about the compounds. Let us move on to the what are the characteristics of the compounds, etc. Okay, here if you observe, elements react to form new compounds. Always whenever we expect a compound formation takes place from the reaction between the elements. For example, if we are reacting a nitrogen element with a hydrogen element, and a hydrogen element are reacting together, we get ammonia. Okay, so compound is formed by the reaction of the elements. Nitrogen element and hydrogen element are reacting together, producing the compound ammonia. Similarly, if we are going to take the methane formation, let us say one carbon atom reacting with the 2 hydrogen atoms or 4 hydrogen atoms here say, and it is giving CH4, the methane. Methane is a compound. How the compound is formed? By the reaction of the elements. So the elements are reacting together in a fixed proportion and thereby producing the compound. So the compound can be obtained by the combination of elements. That is what is given. Elements will react to form new compounds. So whatever may be the compound that we are going to get. For example, if you take the sugar C6H12O6, glucose. For example, okay, so glucose, how it is formed? It is formed by the combination of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So how many carbon atoms are there? 6 carbon atoms are present. How many hydrogen atoms are present? 12 hydrogen atoms are present. How many oxygen atoms are present? 6 oxygen atoms are present. So carbon element, hydrogen element, oxygen element all put together combining with one another producing the compound. So compound formation takes place by the reaction of the elements in a fixed proportion. So whenever they react in fixed proportion, we are going to get the compound, right? So this is what the first statement says about. Let us look at the second one. The composition of each new substance is always fixed. Composition is always fixed. Composition is always fixed. So whatever may be the source you use for the preparation of that compound, the composition is always fixed. How many atoms are to be reacted from one element with the other element in a same number of atoms, okay, the fixed ratio that we are going to see, okay. For example, in the case of ammonia, if we observe, how many nitrogen atoms we have? We have one nitrogen atom. How many hydrogen atoms we have? We have 3 hydrogen atoms. So for the formation of ammonia, so whatever may be the source you get, from where you get the ammonia, okay, no problem, always ammonia contains 1 nitrogen atom and 3 hydrogen atoms. If you take the weight ratio, 3 hydrogens, 3 mass, and ammonia, nitrogen mass is 14, okay. So it is 3:4, always nitrogen and hydrogen will react in 3:4 ratio to give the ammonia. So the composition of hydrogen and nitrogen is fixed in ammonia, it is 3:14, that is fixed, nobody can change it. That is what is the composition of each substance, each pure compound is always fixed. It is fixed. You cannot change it. For example, let me take the methane. In the case of methane, how many carbon atoms are there? We have 1 carbon atom. How many hydrogen atoms we have? We have 4 hydrogen atoms. So if we are going to take the ratio of hydrogen to carbon mass, atomic mass, we know it is 12. Okay. So if I am going to simplify, it will be 1:3. 1:3. So always carbon and hydrogen will react in 1:3 ratio. 1:3 ratio, carbon and hydrogen will react together and produce methane as a product. So methane is a compound obtained by the combination of carbon and hydrogen in fixed proportion. What is that? 1:3 ratio between hydrogen and carbon. That is weight ratio. So the composition of each substance is always fixed. So we cannot change the composition. Composition of a compound is always fixed, okay, right. Simply you can also observe in the case of water molecule, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. So when you take the ratio, it is 1:8. So always hydrogen and oxygen will react in 1:8 ratio and thereby the water molecule, water compound is produced. So the thing is very clear, composition of a compound is always fixed, right. The new substance will have totally different properties. This statement says that the compound that is formed after the elements are reacting together, it will have a different properties. Yes, for example, as we see, hydrogen will react with oxygen giving water, okay. And when you observe how the hydrogen in nature exists, hydrogen in nature exists as a gas. How oxygen in nature is existing? It is existing as gas. How water existing in nature at room conditions, room temperature, it is existing as a liquid. So 2 gases are reacting together and producing a liquid, simple. And we know that for existence of life, for breathing, for respiration purpose, we require oxygen, okay. For drinking purpose, we require water. So the property is shown. For example, oxygen is used in combustion process. Combustion, the fire process, fire will, the fire will be very fast if we are going to supply oxygen. If we are going to cut the oxygen source, automatically fire will put down, okay. And same fire can be removed by using water. When you throw water onto the fire, what happens? Automatically the fire will go out. So here the properties of the compound that is obtained from the element will have a different properties. So properties of water are different, whereas compared to that of the element that from which it is formed. So the property of hydrogen and oxygen are different from that of the water. Water properties are different from that of the hydrogen and oxygen. So that is what this statement says. The new compound that is going to be formed will have a totally different properties. Totally different properties it is going to exhibit. Okay, right. So the constituents can be separated only by a chemical or electrochemical reaction. So the fourth statement says that in case of a compound, if I want to separate the components, if I want to take out the component from the compound, in that case the separation of components can be possible only by chemical reactions, not by physical reactions. So we cannot separate the components of a compound just by physical reaction. It has to be separated by only by chemical reactions. So we have to use chemical reactions in order to get the constituents. For example, if I want to get back hydrogen and oxygen from water, so in that case if I am going for electrolysis, electrolysis means, lysis means breaking down, electro means electricity passing. By passing electricity I am breaking down the water into two components. What are they? So by breaking down water I get hydrogen and I get oxygen. So what I am getting? I am getting the two components from one compound. So the components are separated from the compound only by chemical reaction. So we have to carry out the chemical reaction, then only we can separate the components of the compound. So it is not that easy. We cannot use the physical methods to separate the constituents of a compound. By physical methods, only by chemical reactions we can separate the constituents of a compound. Okay, this thing you have to keep it in mind. Okay, compound is going to be formed by the combination of elements in a fixed ratio, and the components can be separated only by chemical reaction, and the compound formed will exhibit totally different kind of properties. Okay, right. Let us move on to the next concept, that is mixtures. Matter is classified into pure substance and mixture. We have discussed within the pure substance we have elements and compounds. We have discussed about the elements. Further classification of element like metals, non-metals and metalloids we have discussed, and today we have discussed the compound as well. Now let us focus on the other side, impure substance. Matter can be pure and impure. Impure is called as mixture. Okay, so we have a mixtures. So mixture can be considered as an impure substance. We can also call it as a impure substance. How to define a mixture? When we are classifying the matter into pure substance and mixture, then there I have told you that mixture is nothing but a combination of two or more pure substances. When two or more pure substances are mixed together, we get a mixture. Two or more pure substances, when they are mixed together, we are going to end up with the formation of a mixture. So mixture is going to be obtained by the combination of pure substances. Again, when you observe, in which ratio we have to mix the pure substances? There is no ratio. You can mix it any proportion. You can mix in any proportion, you will get a mixture. Okay. So here mixture is a substance. Mixture is a substance which consists of two or more substances. Okay. Mixture is a component in which we are going to have two or more substances. Two or more substances are present, and of course the two or more substances are of different kind which does not undergo any chemical reaction. So what we have to take care for preparing the mixture? We have to take care that when you are mixing the pure substances with one another, these two pure substances should not react with one another. That is what you have to keep it in mind. In which way? In chemical way. Okay, the chemical reaction should not take place between the two or more pure substances which we are using for the preparation of mixture. In order to prepare a mixture, we require two or more pure substances. I have two pure substances with me. I am mixing the two pure substances into another bowl. Okay, so I will get a mixture, and I will get a mixture when these two pure substances won't react with one another. They won't react with one another. In that case, we can get the pure substance. So pure substance can be obtained by the combination, mixture can be obtained by the combination of two or more pure substances which does not undergo any chemical reaction. Okay. Let us see the different classification of mixtures. Mixtures are further classified into homogeneous and heterogeneous. What are homogeneous mixtures and what are heterogeneous mixture? Through the discussion we will come across some more examples with respect to the mixtures. Okay. Yeah, types of mixtures, we have two mixtures, homogeneous mixture as well as heterogeneous mixture. Let us discuss about homogeneous mixture. So it is a mixture in which different constituents, so whatever may be the pure compound that we are taking for preparing that mixture, are uniformly mixed. So we are going to take two pure substances and we are mixing the two pure substances into one other bowl, and there what we have to see? We have to see that the mixing should be uniform. So uniform mixing of the substances is required. Then we get a homogeneous mixture. So homogeneous mixture formation takes place when the two different components are mixed uniformly. Best examples, all solutions we can say, all the solutions. For example, salt solution, sugar solution. Take a glass of water, add 1 spoon of sugar into it, stir it. What happens? Sugar will dissolve in. Of course, dissolution is not a chemical reaction, it is a physical reaction. Okay, dissolution is a physical thing, not a chemical reaction. So here sugar is dissolving in water. Sugar is dissolving in water, and then the sugar is uniformly distributing in throughout the water. How I can say that the sugar is uniformly distributed throughout the water? Take this 1 glass of water in which you have added the sugar, pour it into small 4 glasses. Okay, then taste each glass. Taste for the sugar taste. Okay, in that case, any glass has any different taste of sugar, all the glasses will give you the same kind of sugar taste. There is no change in the sugar taste. It says that sugar is uniformly mixed throughout the water. So here what is happening? Sugar and water are mixing together in a uniform fashion. Similarly, take a glass of water, add 1 spoon of salt to it, stir it so that the salt totally dissolves in the water, and then distribute the salt water into 3 or 4 cups and then taste it. You will get the same kind of taste, right? What does it mean? Salt is uniformly mixed throughout the water. So we are getting a homogeneous mixture. So salt solution, sugar solution are homogeneous mixtures. All alloys, all the alloys are the mixture, homogeneous mixture of solids, metals exactly. Okay, so when metals are put together, when they are mixed homogeneously, we get alloys. Brass, bronze, all these are examples of homogeneous mixtures. Okay, so homogeneous mixture, you can clearly say we have 1 glass of water, adding 1 spoon of sugar to it and stir it, you will get a homogeneous mixture of sugar in water. Then what is heterogeneous mixture? Heterogeneous mixture is that in which the various constituents are not uniformly mixed. Homogeneous means the two pure substances are mixed together uniformly, thoroughly. But here in this mixture, the mixing of the two substances does not take place in a uniform fashion. They are not uniformly mixed. The pure substances are not uniformly mixed, is called as a heterogeneous mixture. For example, oil in water. When you pour oil into water, what happens? Will the oil and water mix with one another? No. You can clearly see the separate layers of water and oil. Okay. When you pour sand in water, when you pour sand into water, what happens? In that case, if you observe, sand will settle down at the bottom. Water and sand will not mix with one another. So it becomes a heterogeneous mixture. If you throw a chalk piece into a glass of water, you will get a heterogeneous mixture. The chalk does not dissolve in water. You are going to get a chalk will settle down at the bottom. You get a heterogeneous mixture. Okay. So heterogeneous mixture, for example, you can see oil in water, both are not mixing with one another. Similarly, sand in water. I am pouring sand into a glass of water. Sand will settle down. There is no uniform mixing takes place. When you take sugar into water, sugar will dissolve and the sugar glass of water will give you the same taste when you distribute into different glasses. But if you distribute into this one into different glasses, you will get different amount of sand and different amount of water. So they are not mixing uniformly. Sand and water are not mixing uniformly. So ultimately we are ending with the formation of a heterogeneous mixture. We are ending with the formation of a heterogeneous mixture. Okay. So heterogeneous mixture is going to be formed in this case. Okay. I think you got a clear idea about the heterogeneous as well as homogeneous mixtures. Let us look at the differences between the impure compounds and pure compounds. Impure and pure. Okay. So mixture and compound, if we observe, mixtures are generally heterogeneous. Most of the mixtures are generally heterogeneous. Some can be homogeneous, but compounds are always homogeneous. Compounds are always homogeneous. Okay. Second one, the constituents of a mixture can retain their individual chemical and physical properties. The mixture constituents can remain their individual properties. For example, if you take sugar in water, sugar will have its own property, water will have its own property. The properties of the sugar and water won't change by just by dissolving the sugar in water. But here, when we are reacting hydrogen and oxygen, we are getting water as a compound. Water properties and hydrogen properties or oxygen properties are totally different. So we can say that properties of compounds are entirely different from the properties of its constituent elements. Okay. Composition of a mixture is always cannot be fixed in any ratio. There is no fixing. You can take 1 spoon of sugar in water or 2 spoons of sugar in water or 3 spoons of sugar in water. There is no particular fixed composition in this case. But here in the case of water we have observed always 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom will react. So the composition is fixed by weight. Okay. The constituents of a mixture can be separated by physical methods. By physical methods you can separate the constant. For example, if I take a sugar solution and if I am heating it, what happens? After boiling, the water will evaporate. Slowly water will evaporate. And lastly, what is going to stay in the bowl is sugar only. So we can separate sugar and water from the sugar solution by just by heating conditions, boiling. But in the case of water, I cannot separate the hydrogen and oxygen from water by a physical method. I have to use a chemical method. So by using only chemical methods, I can separate the constituents of a compound. That is what we have discussed already, right? During the formation of a mixture, no energy change takes place. No energy is going to be released. When you take sugar and add into water and then check the temperature of the glass, no energy change takes place. But for the formation of a compound, we always energy is going to change. So energy change takes place. For example, when hydrogen reacting with oxygen, we get H2O. This will have some enthalpy change. So the enthalpy change is possible. Energy change is possible for the formation of compound, but is not for the mixture formation. Okay. Let us lastly look at the important one, radioactive element. What are radioactive elements? The elements which are going to emit the radiations are called radioactive elements. Elements which are going to emit radiations are called radioactive elements. These are very, very harmful. I think you have observed the radioactive elements. I think you have seen on the roads, especially in the middle of the road. You can see these kind of things. Okay, when your light falls on it, automatically it will shine. The radioactivity, it is going to emit the radiation. Thereby we can easily observe that this is the area where we are not supposed to cross while we are driving. Okay, I think you got a clear idea about the compounds, mixtures and their definitions, right? I think you have enjoyed today's class. We will come up with some more interesting topics in the next class. Until then, have a nice time, ma. Thank you.